Metal Gear Solid Delta. Snake Eater is a remake of the iconic 2004 action-adventure game Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater, developed by Konami and released as part of the Metal Gear franchise's 35th anniversary. The game revisits the origins of the legendary soldier Naked Snake, later known as Big Boss, as he embarks on a high-stakes mission during the Cold War in the 1960s. The remake features updated graphics, modernized mechanics, and improved gameplay, while preserving the story and atmosphere that made the original a masterpiece in the stealth action genre. The story of Snake Eater takes place in 1964, where Naked Snake is tasked with rescuing a scientist named Dr. Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov from the Soviet Union. However, the mission takes a dark turn when Snake is betrayed by his mentor, the Boss, a legendary soldier who defects to the enemy.
He has not yet found an emotion to carry into battle.
Even if they are our enemies, they're still our countrymen.
But it won't be me that pulled the trigger.
Colonel!
It'll be our friend, the American defector.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
Toxic Commando is a fast-paced, action-packed shooter set in a near-future world where a catastrophic energy extraction experiment goes horribly wrong. Scientists attempted to harness power from the Earth's core, but the experiment unleashed a terrifying corruption known as the Blight, thus distorts the land and transforms living beings into monstrous zombies. As the world falls into chaos, the genius behind the disastrous experiment has a plan to save the planet, but he needs a team of skilled mercenaries to complete the mission. However, given the high cost of hiring such experts, he is forced to recruit a group of less than ideal individuals, a ragtag team of outcasts and misfits. The gameplay of Toxic Commando centers on fast-paced, brutal combat where players take on the role of one of these mercenaries tasked with stopping the global catastrophe. Blade Runner 2033. Labyrinth is a narrative-driven adventure set in the dystopian world of Blade Runner, inspired by the iconic 1982 film and its universe. Set in 2033, a decade after the events of Blade Runner 2049, the game immerses players in the rain-soaked, neon-lit streets of a future Los Angeles, where the line between humans and replicants remains blurred. As a new Blade Runner, players must navigate the city's grim labyrinth, investigating mysterious cases and tracking down rogue replicants. In Blade Runner 2033 Labyrinth, players take on the role of a skilled detective tasked with uncovering the truth behind a series of strange occurrences and dangerous criminals. The game mixes traditional point-and-click adventure elements with modern interactive mechanics, offering a rich, story-driven experience where every choice impacts the outcome.
Searching in the land of the dead.
Retrieval is a survival horror action-adventure game that plunges players into a thrilling, mysterious world filled with unexpected twists. Set on the distant planet of Rihalion, players take on the role of Hannah Loshe, the commander of a research team. After a strange accident, Hannah finds herself trapped in a retro-futuristic, abandoned metro base filled with horrifying secrets. As she unravels the mysteries of the base, she discovers the terrifying truth hidden within its walls. The game focuses on themes of friendship, love, loyalty, and the horrific unknown, immersing players in a gripping narrative that constantly keeps them on edge. Players must navigate a decaying and hostile environment where survival is the top priority. From mutated creatures to deadly traps, the journey is fraught with danger. The world of Retrieval is dark, atmospheric, and foreboding, with every corner potentially hiding something terrifying.
There is no end.
Phantom Blade Zero is a fast-paced action RPG set in a dark, mysterious world where martial arts and supernatural powers collide. Players step into the shoes of an elite warrior known as the Phantom, who is drawn into a deadly conspiracy filled with intrigue, betrayal, and personal vengeance. The game takes place in a visually striking, neo-noir-inspired world that blends futuristic elements with traditional Chinese martial arts and fantasy lore. The story revolves around the protagonist's quest for survival after being betrayed by his own allies. As the Phantom, system, players must navigate through a world teeming with dangerous foes, powerful factions, and ancient mysteries. The game focuses on intense, skill-based combat that combines swordplay, acrobatic movements, and supernatural abilities. Players can unleash devastating combos, fluid counterattacks, and magical skills to defeat enemies and bosses. Contraband is an action-packed co-op smuggler's paradise set in the fictional world of 1970s Bayan, a rugged and dangerous region teeming with corruption, lawlessness, and a thriving black market. Developed by Avalanche Studios and published by Xbox Game Studios, the game invites players to embark on high-stakes missions where teamwork and stealth are key to success. Set against a backdrop of a vibrant yet perilous open world, Contraband offers an exhilarating experience of smuggling, heists, and adventure. Players assume the role of smugglers, working together in a dynamic co-op environment to plan and execute missions that involve transporting illicit goods across treacherous landscapes, evading law enforcement, and outsmarting rival factions. The game emphasizes the importance of cooperation, as players must communicate and strategize to outwit enemies and navigate through challenging terrain. State of Decay 3 is an open-world survival horror game set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by zombies. The game, developed by Undead Labs and published by Xbox Game Studios, is the latest installment in the critically acclaimed State of Decay series. In this new chapter, players will once again take on the role of survivors, working together to navigate the harsh, zombie-infested environment while managing resources, building communities, and fighting to stay alive. The game takes place in a large, detailed, open world, where players must scavenge for food, medicine, weapons, and other supplies. State of Decay 3 builds on the series' core mechanics, including base building, resource management, combat, but introduces new features and improvements. Players must establish and upgrade a base, recruit new survivors, and protect their community from both zombie hordes and hostile human factions.
And will never be forgotten. No one is forgotten. We live on. The Outer Worlds 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to the critically acclaimed action RPG developed by Obsidian Entertainment. Set in a retro-futuristic, corporate-controlled universe, the game continues the story of an alternate future where megacorporations rule space colonies, exploiting their citizens for profit. Building upon the success of its predecessor, The Outer Worlds, 2 promises an even more expansive and immersive world, offering players a chance to explore a variety of new planets, meet colorful characters, and make decisions that impact the course of the narrative. As in the first game, The Outer Worlds 2 is a first-person RPG that combines elements of exploration, combat, and dialogue-based decision-making. Players assume the role of a customizable protagonist, who is thrust into a world filled with corporate intrigue, dangerous factions, and moral dilemmas.
Or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake is a ground-up reimagining of the classic 2003 RPG developed by BioWare, originally set in the Star Wars universe, now brought to modern platforms with enhanced graphics, gameplay improvements, and expanded features. Developed by Aspyr, this remake revives the beloved story and deep role-playing experience, bringing new life to the iconic game for both longtime fans and newcomers alike. Set thousands of years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, Knights of the Old Republic, KOTOR, takes place during the Old Republic era, a time when the galaxy is divided by a brutal war between the Sith Empire and the Jedi Order. Players take on the role of a customizable protagonist who is caught in the conflict between the Sith and the Republic, though their true identity and destiny remain shrouded in mystery. Slitterhead is a horror action-adventure game developed by Bokeh Game Studio, founded by Keiichiro Toyama, the creator of Silent Hill. Set in a nightmarish world filled with grotesque creatures, the game combines elements of survival horror, intense combat, and psychological storytelling. Slitterhead aims to deliver a chilling experience that blends horror with a unique narrative, immersing players in a dark and disturbing world. The game's setting is a contemporary city that has been twisted by an outbreak of horrific mutations. The protagonist, a skilled survivor, must navigate through a decaying world overrun with monstrous, shape-shifting creatures known as Slitterheads, who are the result of an eerie and violent biological transformation. These grotesque beings are not only horrifying in appearance, but also exhibit strange abilities, adding a terrifying layer to the gameplay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Last Ronin is an action-adventure game inspired by the graphic novel of the same name, which offers a darker, more mature take on the beloved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. Set in a dystopian future, the game follows the last surviving turtle, who embarks on a quest for vengeance against the enemies who destroyed his family. The world is grim, and the once vibrant city is now a dangerous place overrun by ruthless forces. This is not the light-hearted world of the original cartoon, but a grittier, more somber setting where survival and revenge are the central themes. The story is centered around the lone surviving turtle, whose identity is initially a mystery. As the player progresses through the game, it is revealed that the character is on a personal mission to avenge the deaths of his brothers, who were killed by the Foot Clan. Luna Abyss is a single-player, story-driven action-adventure game that combines fluid platforming with intense bullet-hell combat. Set in a mysterious and hostile world, the game follows Fox, a prisoner stranded on the moon of Luna. Caught between the ominous prophecy of their fate and the harsh reality of their prison sentence, Fox embarks on a perilous journey to uncover the truth behind their existence and the cryptic forces that control their destiny. The game features a unique blend of high-speed platforming and fast-paced combat, with players navigating through treacherous environments filled with dangerous traps and enemies. The platforming is designed to be fluid and rewarding, requiring precise timing and skillful movements to avoid hazards and reach new areas. As Fox progresses, they must use their agility to scale walls, leap across gaps, and outmaneuver the threats that lurk in the abyss. Grand Theft Auto 6 is the highly anticipated next installment in a Rockstar Games' iconic open-world action series. Set in the sprawling dynamic world of Vice City and potentially other locations, the game promises to deliver a new level of detail, immersion, and freedom. As with previous entries, players will engage in a blend of fast-paced action, thrilling heists, and engaging storylines, but with a fresh perspective and an expanded narrative. The story of GTA 6 revolves around a diverse cast of characters, with players taking control of multiple protagonists, including a male and female lead. The narrative is expected to explore the rise and fall of these characters within the criminal underworld as they navigate their ambitions, relationships, and the challenges of the modern world. Themes of betrayal, power, and survival are set to be at the forefront of the storyline, drawing players into a rich, character-driven plot. Exodus is an immersive survival action-adventure game set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity is on the brink of extinction. The story follows a group of survivors struggling to adapt to a desolate environment filled with dangers, both human and environmental. As players take on the role of a key survivor, they must navigate a hostile landscape, facing threats such as scavengers, mutated creatures, and the harsh remnants of civilization. The game emphasizes resource management, exploration, and tactical combat, as players seek to uncover the truth behind behind the cataclysmic event that devastated the planet. The core gameplay focuses on survival mechanics, where players must gather supplies, craft weapons, and make strategic decisions to stay alive. Resources are scarce, and players must carefully scavenge through abandoned cities, decaying landscapes, and underground bunkers to find food, water, and materials. Marvel's Blade is an action-packed, narrative-driven game that follows the iconic vampire hunter Blade as he takes on a dark and supernatural underworld. Set in the Marvel universe, the game immerses players in a world filled with vampires, demons, and other supernatural creatures. Blade, a half-human, half-vampire vigilante, must navigate this perilous world to protect humanity from the growing threat of vampire overlords and their minions. The game's story revolves around Blade's relentless mission to rid the world of vampires and other dark entities. With his unique abilities, which include superhuman strength, agility, and heightened senses, as well as his mastery in combat, Blade is the ultimate weapon in the fight against the supernatural. The narrative explores Blade's personal struggle with his vampiric side while also delving into his role as a protector of humanity.
Lock up tight now. Night's just getting started.
Kingmakers is an epic strategy sandbox game set in a war-torn medieval world, where players are thrust into the heart of battle with a unique blend of medieval and modern weaponry. In this action-packed adventure, you will take on the role of a ruler striving to build and defend a kingdom amidst constant warfare. Whether you choose to play solo or with friends, the game offers a dynamic and immersive experience where tactical decisions, large-scale combat, and kingdom building are at the forefront. The core gameplay revolves around creating and managing a kingdom, gathering resources, constructing fortifications, and recruiting armies to defend against rival factions. What sets Kingmakers apart is the inclusion of modern weaponry, allowing players to equip their troops with guns, explosives, and advanced technology, adding a twist to the traditional medieval combat experience.
He gave our people a future. I hope he can save his own.
Striden is a fast-paced, sandbox looter-shooter survival game that challenges players to loot, build, and plunder in a vast, ever-changing world. In Striden, players are thrown into a hostile environment where they must survive by scavenging for resources, crafting powerful weapons, and fending off enemies. The ultimate goal is to send out a radio signal for freedom while facing countless challenges that test both combat and strategic thinking. The game takes place in a dynamically generated world full of danger, where every corner may hide a new threat or valuable resource. Players must explore and loot various areas, collecting materials to build their own base, craft advanced equipment, and upgrade their arsenal. The variety of loot and weapons gives players the freedom to tailor their playstyle, whether they prefer stealth, brute force, or tactical combat. Splitgate 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to the popular arena shooter that combines fast-paced action with a unique portal mechanic. Set in a futuristic world, Splitgate 2 takes the best elements of classic first-person shooters and enhances them with innovative mechanics, creating an adrenaline-fueled multiplayer experience. The game's defining feature is the ability to create portals on various surfaces, allowing players to teleport across the map instantly, outsmarting opponents and creating new strategies for combat. In Splitgate 2, players engage in high-intensity team-based battles across a variety of dynamic arenas. The game includes a range of modes from classic deathmatch and capture the flag to more unique variations that leverage the portal mechanic. Each map is carefully designed to incorporate multiple surfaces for players to open portals, enabling verticality and an extra layer of tactical depth that sets it apart from other shooters. Eternal Strands is an action-packed third-person adventure game where players face off against colossal epic creatures in a world teetering on the edge of destruction. Set in a beautifully crafted fantasy world, the game blends intense combat with a rich narrative, offering an immersive experience as you take on the role of a powerful hero chosen to save the land from imminent collapse. In Eternal Strands, players will engage in large-scale battles against giant creatures that threaten the very existence of the world. Armed with a vast arsenal of powerful weapons and magical abilities, you must strategize and use your skills to take down these monstrous foes. The combat system is dynamic, allowing players to wield devastating attacks, perform acrobatic maneuvers, and harness elemental magic to outmaneuver and weaken their enemies. Each creature you face presents unique challenges, requiring you to adapt your tactics and master different combat styles. Glory to the Heroes is an immersive single-player and PvPvE first-person shooter, FPS, set in the backdrop of the Russian-Ukrainian war. The game offers a gripping, realistic military experience, allowing players to engage in high-intensity combat with combined arms gameplay. This includes the use of various military units and vehicles, immersing players in real-world locations based on actual battlefields. In Glory to the Heroes, players can take on the role of soldiers on either side of the conflict, experiencing the brutal and chaotic nature of war. The game features diverse gameplay mechanics, allowing players to control infantry, armored vehicles, helicopters, and even drones, all while coordinating with AI or other players in dynamic and ever-changing battlefield environments. Every mission and combat scenario is designed to reflect the complexity of modern warfare, where strategy, teamwork, and the ability to adapt to rapidly changing conditions are key to survival. Projekt Z Beyond Order is an intense first-person shooter set during World War II, where players must fight off hordes of zombies in a brutal, action-packed environment. In this cooperative survival game, up to 4 players team up to tackle dynamic missions filled with challenges, all while enhancing their characters and customizing weapons to suit their playstyles. Set against the backdrop of a world in turmoil, Projekt Z Beyond Order introduces a unique twist to the classic World War II setting by incorporating a zombie apocalypse. As the war rages on, a new terrifying enemy emerges, undead hordes that threaten to overwhelm humanity. Players take on the roles of elite soldiers, each with unique abilities, as they face off against the relentless zombie onslaught. The game features a robust character progression system, allowing players to level up and unlock various skills, abilities, and equipment upgrades. Chrono Odyssey is a next-generation action MMORPG that takes players on an epic journey through a visually stunning world powered by Unreal Engine 5. Set in a vast and intricately designed seamless open world, the game offers an immersive experience with dynamic time manipulation mechanics, action-packed combat, and extensive character customization. The game's stunning graphics, made possible by Unreal Engine 5, deliver breathtaking environments, detailed character models, and impressive visual effects that bring the world of Chrono Odyssey to life. Players will explore expansive landscapes, from lush forests and towering mountains to ancient ruins and sprawling cities, all seamlessly connected with no loading screens to break immersion. At the heart of Chrono Odyssey is its action-based combat system, which emphasizes fast-paced, fluid interactions and requires skillful timing and strategy. Last Sentinel is a thrilling story-driven survival action game set in a dystopian future. The game follows the journey of a lone survivor tasked with protecting the last remnants of humanity from a world overrun by destructive forces. As a Sentinel, your role is to defend a critical outpost on a hostile planet, using advanced technology and weapons to fend off waves of invaders while uncovering the secrets of a crumbling civilization. The game's narrative unfolds through immersive storytelling, as players piece together the history of the world through environmental storytelling, logs, and interactions with other survivors. The atmosphere is tense as players constantly face the looming threat of enemy forces who are trying to breach the defenses. The primary focus is on survival, requiring players to carefully manage resources, maintain their equipment, and navigate through dangerous, ever-changing environments.
Follow me.
Light, No Fire is a cooperative survival adventure game set on a magical planet the size of Earth. The game combines deep RPG elements with sandbox freedom, allowing players to explore, build, and survive in a rich, fantastical world. Players take on the roles of adventurers who must work together to unravel the mysteries of this enchanted land, overcome its challenges, and thrive in its diverse ecosystems. The core gameplay revolves around survival, where players must gather resources, craft tools, and build shelters to withstand the planet's harsh environments. The dynamic weather systems and various biomes present unique obstacles and opportunities for resource collection. The planet is full of life, from peaceful creatures to hostile beasts, all contributing to the intricate ecosystem players must navigate. Building plays a key role in Light No Fire. Players can construct everything from simple shelters to elaborate towns, using materials gathered from the land. Isle is a first-person survival horror game set in a sinister, abandoned settlement where the atmosphere is thick with madness and despair. Players step into the shoes of an investigator, driven to uncover the horrifying truth behind a place consumed by darkness and terror. The game immerses players in a terrifying world where danger lurks at every corner, and the line between reality and nightmare is increasingly blurred. Set in a decaying environment filled with grotesque creatures and unsettling sounds, focuses on intense survival and exploration. As you navigate the eerie landscape, every bullet is precious and resources are scarce. Combat is intense and unforgiving, forcing you to make difficult decisions about when to fight and when to flee. The terrifying entities you encounter are not only physical threats but also represent the psychological horrors that drive the narrative forward. Negative Atmosphere is a third-person, over-the-shoulder survival horror game that plunges players into a nightmarish journey aboard the doomed void ship TRH Rusanov. Trapped in the dark recesses of the ship, players assume the role of Samuel Edwards, one of the few survivors of a horrific outbreak that has transformed the crew into grotesque monsters. With danger lurking around every corner, Samuel must navigate the ship, fighting and evading his former comrades in a desperate race for survival. The atmosphere of Negative Atmosphere is built on dread, tension, and trauma. The game excels in creating a sense of isolation and vulnerability as players explore the vast, eerie corridors of the Rusanov. The once functional spacecraft is now a derelict maze, filled with twisted remnants of a crew turned into nightmarish creatures. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is an action-adventure game that follows the legendary archaeologist Indiana Jones on a thrilling journey to uncover the secrets of an ancient and mysterious artifact known as the Great Circle. Set in the 1930s, players will guide Indy through perilous adventures across exotic locations, from dense jungles and treacherous mountain peaks to vast deserts and forgotten ruins. The game features a mix of exploration, puzzle-solving, and fast-paced action all wrapped in the classic Indiana Jones style. The story begins when Indy stumbles upon an ancient map that hints at the location of the Great Circle, a powerful relic said to grant immense knowledge and influence to its possessor.
I've had run-ins with these guys before.
Indy follows the trail of the artifact, he faces a variety of challenges, including rival treasure hunters, ancient traps, and deadly wildlife.
patron of the fallen angels, protector of the Chukulimani, the Great Circle. You have any idea how old that was?
Derelicts is a survival action-adventure game set in a post-apocalyptic world where the Earth has been shrouded in deadly radiation by an ancient, mysterious mechanism. Years after the event, your team is tasked with investigating the source of the disaster. Players must navigate through a desolate wasteland, uncovering hidden secrets, scavenging for resources, and fighting to survive in a world that has been forever changed by radiation. The game features both solo and cooperative multiplayer modes, allowing players to explore this hostile environment alone or with friends. The world of Derelicts is filled with dangerous creatures, hazardous weather conditions, and the remnants of a once thriving civilization. To survive, players must build shelters, craft tools, and harness the power of electricity and water, which have become precious resources in this new world. Projekt LLL is a dynamic online third-person shooter set in a sci-fi universe blending futuristic technology with ancient myths. The game draws inspiration from titles like Tom Clancy's The Division, offering fast-paced combat in a post-apocalyptic world. Players find themselves in a devastated version of Soul, where high-tech innovations collide with the haunting remnants of the Byzantine Empire from the 10th century. The game features an immersive setting where advanced technology and Byzantine mythology shape the world's design, creating a unique and unpredictable environment for players to explore. The devastated city of Soul acts as a backdrop for intense firefights and strategic combat as players navigate through urban ruins using both futuristic weapons and ancient powers. The gameplay emphasizes cooperative multiplayer, where players can team up to tackle various missions and face off against formidable enemies, both human and monstrous. inZOI is a life simulation game where every player's experience is shaped by the unique stories they create. Set in a vibrant world, the game allows players to control and observe the lives of customizable characters called ZOIs. With an easy-to-use set of tools, players can design their characters, build homes, and guide their lives through various scenarios and emotions, experiencing the joys, challenges, and intricacies of life. The core of inZOI lies in its deep simulation system, which creates rich, dynamic interactions between the ZOIs. Players can craft each character's appearance, personality, and skills before guiding them through a life filled with personal milestones, relationships, careers, and aspirations. As a player, you become a director of these lives, shaping their futures through your choices and actions.